What's up, everybody? My name is KSaun. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 3, Week 6 of the Wezette Division, and we've got some awesome best of threes to get into for you guys. Before I take a look at the standings, I just wanted to mention something I said last week and clarify what I meant. I said that MacRain was voted by our division to finish last. That is not actually true. What I meant to say was that each player in our division, and the other divisions as well, were asked basically to rank the rosters 1st through 10th in terms of how good we thought that the rosters specifically were, so not taking the players into account at all, and MacRain was voted to finish last by our division. So that was no disrespect to MacRain. Basically, as a whole, his roster got voted last, and I think that just goes to show how good of a player he is. It is very, very impressive. So taking a look at the standings heading into Week 6, we've got him in first place with the Materia Hunters with 13 points. Numero 80, one of our new players, Blind Enthusiast, hot on his trail though with 12 points. Hot on his tail, excuse me. Ram 9 of the Rock Boys, our Season 2 defending champion with 11, and a couple of teams with 10. Garouken of Corked and Screwed, who has that head-to-head tiebreaker over Greatestness of State Military. Chisei of the Heretics with 9 points, who face off against me and the Zanarkand Abes with 7. Shadow 91 of the Logic Breakers with 6. Mr. Aloha with team hashtag Pokesquid with 4. And Bam of Black Turtles with 2. We've got a bunch of good best of threes to jump into, but before we do that, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to these YouTube members on the screen here. All of you guys are really amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Let's jump into these matches. Kicking things off here, we've got Ram 9, coach of the Rock Boys, versus Bam, coach of the Black Turtles here. Looks like a couple of win units with Charisse, Kadia, as well as Kefka coming out from the Black Turtles as Pursuit Techniques comes out from Charisse. I imagine Kefka's going to buff AoE resist on the party. He's going to do just that, as well as some Spirit and Hate Up on the other members. And here comes a double strike composition with Yrel, Alphonse, Elric, and Surges. Yrel popping that Queen Mashri TMR, getting missile resist on the party, so expecting a missile team on the other side that might help against the Charisse, as the Keen Blade from the very speedy 30 cost Surges comes out here, and Azumi stands with a physical barrier from Alphonse. And I'm looking at the other side here from Bam, and my big thing is Kefka is going to have to put in a ton of work, because I do not imagine Charisse is going to be able to effectively get through Alphonse. As the Erase Brightboard comes out from Kadia, Courage coming out from Yrel. Kadia is going to go again though. She's going to channel a second buff as the Sharp Spear Resolute comes out from Surges, and he's going to walk forward. So Ram 9's team is collapsing on the other side as Expertise the Alchemist comes up, and Alphonse is ready to go. We have seen how tanky this guy is, and with 16,000 health, I think that is a very healthily reincarnated Alphonse. As it looks like Pursuit Techniques, again, just going to be refreshed. So Bam's team just kind of sitting back. I have to wonder, is it a range issue with some of these posts in the map, or does Charisse just not have quite enough range to be able to hit Alphonse there? We'll have to see, but Kefka's going to start kicking off this fight. He's channeling a spell. What is going to come off here? Is this the Light of Judgment? It is Light of Judgment plus 2930, going to drop some of those resistances and some of the offensive output as well, but not as much damage as I think you'd like to see coming out from Bam, as Yrel is going to drop a massive limit break, 6600 damage onto the Kefka, and this is a very rough start for Bam. Kadia is going to have to put in a lot of work healing this Kefka to get through them. As the King Bradley TMR from Charisse, she is still out of range from the Alphonse. That is a bit surprising to me. I do wonder if it's just a line of sight thing or what's going on there. Kadia is going to start channeling a spell. I imagine this is probably a heal onto the Kefka, but Stone Enclosure from Alphonse, he's going to find the back line, and if this kills Kadia, it is game over. That is a ton of damage. It's not on the Kadia, it's on the Charisse, but your secondary DPS did not get an attack off, and that is unfortunate. Kefka's going to have to put in so much work here. The Curative Prayer brings him to full. He's going to go next, but he doesn't go for the limit break to land that confuse. He goes for Hyperdrive and 3300 damage. I don't think it's going to be enough. Bulwark of the Bull just getting refreshed again. But this team from Ram 9 still very healthy. Leaping Assault doing about 2600 to the Kefka as he procs a regen on himself as well. But I don't think Kefka's low enough to proc a heal from Kadia, so what is she going to go for? I think she has Raise in her kit, but I don't think she has Full Life. So is she trying to bring back the dead Charisse, or is this a heal? Is he low enough? Well, we're going Dance of the Mad, and if anything could save Bam's chances here, it would be this limit break. 3,400 damage does land the confusion. Who does Alphon go for? He goes for his teammate, so 2,300 damage onto his own Surges is good for Bam. The raise misses, though. Again, there's no full life in the kit, just raise. That's kind of unfortunate. Rend the Heavens is going to hit multiple units, and that's going to seal the deal here, as Kefka's going to drop, and Kadia is a very good support, but she's just that. She's just a support, not a huge damage dealer. Surges is going to close the game out with a massive dive onto her head, and that is a game 1 victory for the Rock Boys. Heading into the second game of the series here, and it looks like Ram9 is running the exact same composition back, and looking for Bam, switching out the Summer Helena, or subbing in, I should say, the Summer Helena and the Krace rather than the Kadia and the Kefka. It looks like a very similar turn rotation coming out from Ram9, though. The Keen Blade and that Queen Mashri TMR again. Azumi stance from Alphonse. Doesn't look like anything has changed here. I think Ram9 feeling confident, saying, I don't know if you have an answer to this tech. Speaking of tech, the Pursuit Techniques comes out from the Charisse, again on her and Krace, and hopefully these ranged units can get some damage down. Enchanting Skies coming out from the Summer Helena, so they are ready to deal a lot of damage. Krace does find the arm shot. Does Disable land? It does not. If that landed, that could have been absolutely massive. Unfortunately, it does not land. The Courage going onto Urel. Surges is going to walk forward here, and you have to wonder, is there Disable res on Alphonse? I'm not sure what he has inherently, or whether or not Ram9 is covering for those statuses. We'll have to see. He goes Expertise of the Alchemist. Again, Alphonse is a very tanky guy, and I think they're going to have to land something like Disable to get through him. He's just so beefy. I don't know. It's going to be very difficult. No AP on the Krace, though. It's just going to standard attack, so Azumi's stance only has 1 hit left on the barrier. Immortal Spirit going from the Summer Helena, but she's not able to get damage down yet. Spirit Breaker from Urel is a ton of damage, though, is going to drop the Krace in 1 hit. And man, this beefy lineup from Ram9 just looks so intimidating from the other side. How do you get through it? Boulder Blockade's going to hit 2. It's going to land a kill, almost a double kill. And Alphonse is just an absolute monster on the battlefield here. Shifting Strike is going to chain up for 11k. The Courage is going to save her life. But unless she has something in her kit that I'm not aware of, I don't know, man. This is going to be the limit break. But, I think things are looking a little gloomy here for Bam, unfortunately, in Game 2. It's going to drop the AoE resist. Deals a good chunk of damage, I will say, but it's just too little, too late. The Leaping Assault comes out from Surges, and unfortunately for Bam, I think this Alphonse is just too tanky to get through. That is a clean 2-0 win for Ram9 and the Rock Boys. Game 1 of the Blind Enthusiast, coached by Numero 80 versus Corked and Screwed, coached by Garouken. And this should be a banger matchup. Garouken running that double fire evasion team that we've seen before, with the Mariel as a tank, with the Wutai Dash coming out on turn 1 from Yuffie. Numero 80 going with a physical tank of Moraga to try and soak up some hits, and it looks like Summer Elsie in the back trying to deal that damage to those fire units. So Moraga goes Keen Blade. I thought for a second that Summer Elsie wasn't going to do anything, but she's actually channeling a spell here, so curious to see what she's going for. Dragon's Bloodline comes out from the Sweetheart Aldira. Worried about some of those status effects coming out from the other side, as Tidal Calling, a very nice tech here. Unit attack resist up, as well as some other nice buffs for them. And here comes the zombie TMR from Mariel. So 13,000 health. If that wasn't enough, you have to kill her twice. Phoebe going to go with the Quicken onto Moraga, though, making sure that tank gets up very far ahead to try and make sure that Summer Elsie doesn't get hit by any AoEs. He's going to get his Courage online, so he should be able to soak some hits here. Phoebe going to go next. I imagine she's going to channel another Quicken. This should be onto Moraga again. Law of Safeguarding goes on Summer Elsie. She is very tanky versus physical. And really the question is, can Summer Elsie kill everybody? That is my one concern for Numero 80 here, because especially with Mariel as a magic tank, I don't imagine Moraga is going to be accurate enough to hit these evasion units, but we'll have to see. So Moraga did a little bit of chip to Mariel. Sweetheart Aldira is going to go Blinding Trinity. I thought it was going to be the limit break for a second, but no, he just goes for the chain. It's going to break the barrier that Moraga starts to battle with, and now he is blind. And Blinding Trinity also from Yuffie. So Sweetheart Aldira and Yuffie basically going for the same tech, but that's a really nice fire slash chain. Will this Quicken go off in time? No, it won't. So Mariel should be able to slash chain this. This probably brings Moraga down to Courage. And what is Mariel going to do? She's taking her time to think. Mind Crusher comes down, and that's going to do it. He's down to 1 health. So one more hit and Moraga will be gone. But Summer Elsie's going to start channeling a spell. And now, is this a Quicken or is it a heal? It's actually a Curata. Will Moraga be able to survive one more hit is the question. Bursting Light, the guaranteed hit onto Mariol. I wonder if Mariol is dodgy enough to need those 100% hitters as well. But here comes the limit break from Sweetheart Eldira. Does this only hit Moraga, or did this hit somebody else in the AoE? I'm curious if this hits Phoebe. It does hit Phoebe. It doesn't one-shot her, though, but it drops her CT and boosts Sweetheart Eldira. And we've seen before how massive this limit break is. And look at the turn order. It's Yuffie, and then it's Eldira, and then it's Mariol, and now the blind onto Summer Elsie. This feels like it is all but over for numero 80 and the blind enthusiasts. The one thing I will say is that Yuffie, I don't think, ever used Brumal form, so she does not have that 100% hit nullify right now. So they are kind of stacked up. Summer Elsie's limit break is 100% hit. Can she one-shot anybody here? This is basically her one opportunity to get this done. She's going to go for it, guys. This is the limit break. And I think this entire fight comes down to whether she one-shots these units. This should hit everybody. But how much damage does it do to the Fire Squad? Oh my god. Absolutely murders them in one hit. And this looked so good for Garouken. But now Summer Elsie is in a 1v1. She takes out Mariol. She has the re-raise. But as long as she is able to hit with some of these guaranteed hits, it's not going to matter. Even a blind enthusiast can seal this kill here. Very, very fitting for the team name, I will say, in this battle. As this blind enthusiast is going to take out Mariol. Unavailable pain goes for 5,200 damage, and that's a game 1 victory for numero 80. Game 2 here, numero 80 is looking to seal it, bringing back that water magic unit of Summer Elsie, but also bringing Garble this time. So maybe another guaranteed hitter to try and battle the evasion, but that is not evasion from the other side. That is Lucio, the Dark Killer. So Garble might have a tough time. We'll have to see. Grace of Eternal Friendship coming out from the Phoebe. So the Black Rose Helen TMR trying to get that off on herself before she goes to quicken or haste anybody else. Revitalize coming out from Lucio, so he's got tons of AP at this moment. And it looks like a somewhat red mage composition here, as it looks like Charlotte is also there. 2 magic tanks. So maybe Garouken saying, hey, I know you're going to bring Summer Elsie because you're afraid of that fire evasion. I'm going to bring 2 magic tanks to deal with her. And this might be a really good adjustment. A track wall comes out, so Charlotte's going to have tons of hate here. And Mariol has 10 to start. So Lucio should be pretty safe in the back line. Obviously, if he gets hit by an AoE, that's a different story. But Spirit Blaster going to upgrade Garvel's spear piercing rate, but did very, very little damage to this Mariol. Law of Safeguarding going to come out from Summer Elsie as Phoebe's going to finish her spell. It is a quicken. And now Summer Elsie should be in range to, I think, hit this Charlotte. She's going to go for something here. But how much damage does she get off? Lucio's going to go next. He is a very strong unit at this point in the game. Scintillating Eclipse does about 3,400, tanked fairly well by Summer Elsie, but Lucio dodges the Summer Elsie. That is unexpected, I will say. Looks like Summer Elsie not the most accurate unit. You could say that she is a blind enthusiast, and Mariol is going to go next. Mind Crusher for 4,940. Summer Elsie is down, and this looks like a very strong response from Garouken in game number 2 here. Early 3v2 in their favor, as Charlotte is going to just get glorious armor, so she's going to be even harder to tank. I will say they are in a perfect line here as the quicken misses, though. Can Garble reach all 3? Yes, he can. Spirit Blaster actually does a ton more to Lucio than I expected. He is normally a very anti-dark unit, but it looks like his dark resist is not built up as high as I thought it would be. If Garble can hit Lucio again, he has a chance, but Phoebe is down, and they basically have to stack up perfectly for him to do this, because 2 different magic tanks have the hate right now, and they did not take much damage at all from this Garble. And Garble would have to go absolutely nuts right now. He does have access to both physical and magical reflex. Not sure which one he has set right now. Pummel just going to do a little bit of damage. But unfortunately for numero 80, Garble's not going to be able to find the Lucio, which means Lucio should be able to follow up here, doing a ton of damage on a Garble. He's going to go for it. Crescentic Break, 9,300 is easily enough to take the victory, and that is a game 2 win for Corked and Screwed. Final game of this series, guys, and it's been a few weeks since Wezette has had a 3-game series, so very exciting to see this here, as numero 80 is switching it up completely, going with Little Leela, Curry Wezette, and Sephiroth. Very, very interesting. As Sephiroth, I think, went with the Aurora Blessing, Starlight Elena TMR. Curry goes for the Frostmon Barrage, but I don't think he landed any Frostbite on Charlotte. Yeah, he did not. Lucio's going to pop Bell, so he's got tons of AP. But can Curry land a Frostbite to kind of nullify that? We're going to have to find out. A track wall comes out from the Charlotte, so her and Mariol have tons of hate. What does Mariol go for? Height 3 disabled. Oh, and it lands on the Little Leela before she's able to do anything. That could be pretty massive here. Little Leela now is unable to move forward. She's walking over to the side next to her team. Curry just goes for the standard attack as he doesn't have enough AP to go for anything. The Aurora Blessing refresh from Sephiroth. So he has not used any other buff at this point, just that light resistance. But light versus dark, a tale as old as time here. Who wins this battle? Swift Punishment coming up from Charlotte does a ton of damage to the Curry. Soaked up decently well by the other two units, but does drop that agility also. Little Leela, though, still being disabled. Where is she going to move to? Because even though she can't do anything, she has hate, but she's going to move right next to Curry, which means Curry is in trouble. Can he land a Frostbite before he dies? He's going to do Frostmaw Barrage. It lands on both Lucio and Charlotte. And honestly, Lucio has to do a ton in this turn, I think, and it gets reflexed by the Sephiroth. That is massive, I think. He is now down to 57 AP. He's going to lose AP next turn. That Bell's doing absolutely nothing for him now. Hell's Gate comes through. That is way more to Lucio than I think you want to see if you're Garouken. And even though this is a 3v2 in Garouken's favor, these two units being frostbitten is major, and I think Sephiroth is set up to carry this game. Little Leela should be on the last turn of her disable. She's going to move up to the side and actually does Sephiroth a favor, moves out of the way. But here comes the height 3 disable, and it lands on the Sephiroth. Oh my god, this Mariel has not done one single speck of damage in this fight, and she is hard carrying. And as much as I said I thought this was over for Garouken or in favor of numero 80, now it's not. Sephiroth can do absolutely nothing. Can they reach Little Leela? They don't have AP to get abilities off, and Little Leela is too far away to reach, so they're literally just walking towards Sephiroth instead. Oh my goodness. Silencing spell comes out from Little Leela to stop her from disabling people. Actually, that doesn't even work because it's a TP skill. But it's too little too late anyway. Lucio's going to go next. He's only got 13 AP. And apparently Little Leela does not have hate. I thought she did, but she does not have enough anymore as Lucio's going to take out the Sephiroth. And I think this is a reverse sweep. This is looking like a win for Garouken. Unless Little Leela can pull off something absolutely nuts here. How much damage did she do to this Lucio? She's only got 39 AP. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. Silence and healing power down only does so much for you. These standard attacks are going to stack up. Actually, he has enough AP for the Crescentic break. And this is just kind of delaying the inevitable, I think, as Charlotte's going to standard attack, 1941 damage. Mariel is silenced, so she's just going to do the same thing, I imagine. Lucio should be able to finally clean up this kill, though, with this standard attack chain. And, guys, that is not how I expected this battle to go, but a couple of really crucial disables coming out from Mariel. GG's, that is a huge win for Garouken and Corked and Screwed. Game number 1 of Team #Pokesquid versus the Materia Hunters. We've got Mr. Aloha versus MacRain. And Aloha always here. Looks like running the Flag Bearer Glassy along with Halloween Lucia and Sosha. And that is a couple of scary ice units coming out from the other side. Snow, Valade, as well as Glaciella Wezette. So both versions of Spear Glassy in this battle. We'll have to see what happens here. So Ice Vitalization coming out from the Valade, getting that AoE buff with Protect, Accuracy, all that good stuff. Spirit of Wezette coming out from the Flagbearer Glassy, so physical shield on herself, or 3-hit shield on herself, excuse me. A Spell of Fortification from Halloween Lucia is going to get that AoE resist on the entire team. I imagine this is a Keen Blade from Sosha. No, it is not. She's actually in range to hit Snow. I think that probably would have been a Keen Blade from Sosha just based off of the movement and that fact she can run that. But I'm curious to see how much damage she gets off here and whether or not she actually even gets this damage off. She is showing the cast time. She's going to go after Snow moves, and this should be onto Snow. Is this a homing attack? Because if it's not, this might actually just whiff, which would be really unfortunate. It's exactly that. Silencing Jump does not land. It does not have that targeting effect onto Snow. So unfortunately, a wasted turn by Sosha here. But Halloween Lucia, what is she going to go for? She's going to go Limit Break right away. I will say this is quite good for Mr. Aloha. This gives her that follow-up attack for basically the rest of the fight, which could be pretty big. 2468 and then 1500 from the Arcane Shot. 2 non-crits coming out from the Halloween Lucia. A reflex coming out from Sosha, though. So unlucky on the missed hit, but does dodge all of that damage from Glaciella. Not looking too bad for Mr. Aloha early on. Is Snow low enough to catch a heal from Valade? Yes, he is. So Kurata is going to heal him up to full at this point. And Sosha with only 12 AP is just going to standard attack the Snow, but lands the crit and the agility down. So obviously running that Thornlet on Sosha here as the King Bradley TMR from Glaciella, so apparently not able to hit these two units based off that range. Reflex again comes out from Sosha though, so she's kind of being a really effective tank by catching a couple lucky reflexes. Can Halloween Lucia follow up on this? Wow, that is the Eldira VC doing a little bit of damage. The follow-up does another like 2k to each, but honestly tanked very well by MacRain's team, and a double stun from the stunning thrust from Glaciella is absolutely crippling for team #Pokesquid. But Flagbearer Glassy says, no worries, I'm an absolute beast. She finds a really good chain, and honestly, Sosha might have been able to chain up with that damage and take out Glaciella potentially, but she is stunned and doesn't get the opportunity. Kira comes out from the Blade. Snow's going to go Ravage on all three, taking out the Sosha with that elemental advantage, doing so much damage. And now Glassy, Wezette, Surefire Burst is doing a good chunk of damage to both units. The stunned up Halloween Lucia is unfortunately going to lose her turn, and this looks like it is all but over. Flagbearer Glassy is a very strong unit, but counter sting from regular Glassy. OG Glassy says, I'm the one true Glassy, and she actually takes out her as well. Man, oh man. Regular Glassy, OG Glassy, just absolutely popping off at the end. GG. Game number 2, and we've got Flagbearer Glassy, Elda Leonis, and Adelard coming out from Mr. Aloha. So a couple of spear units here as the same team coming out from MacRain on the other side. Looks like a Keenblade coming out from Glaciella to get that CT up, and Words of Reproach coming out from Snow. So the Edward Elric TMR, a nice tech, unit attack resist and regen. Very, very cool to see here. And what does Valade go for? I imagine this is the AoE Protect buff. Yes, it is. Ice Vitalization and Hate down for himself, allowing him to stay in the back very safely. Spirit of Wezette coming out from the Flagbearer Glassy again. This is a typical turn 1 from her. And Elda Leonis going to go Keenblade. I wonder if it would be Keenblade or if it would be his Limit Break to get some Hate up. And I'm looking at that movement. I think that was 3 movement. I thought it was 2 for a second, but it looks like it actually is 3. So no bow tie on him. Warp Maiden's Pride coming out from OG Glassy, though. And man, oh man, Glassy versus Glassy gets so damn confusing in the shoutcast. As set the pace from the Valade, very similar to the first game. This is the Addison Ray TMR that MacRain is favoring for good reasons, as King Bradley TMR is everywhere, and Fastcast is here for the Adelard. So if they are able to hit this Glassy, it will get rid of the haste, and momentum actually goes off on her. So a little bit of a mix-up here as she basically catches double haste. Spirit Breaker for 4,300 damage onto the Adelard is a decent chunk. Will he be able to follow up with anything, as Elda's going to go next? He's going to pop that Limit Break, so he does have Hate online now as well as a barrier. So he should at least be able to live a hit from Glassy, even with that elemental disadvantage. I'm not sure what his natural Pierce Res is, but Flagbearer Glassy going to go Valkyrie Burst, pop the Limit Break. Unfortunately for her, not doing a whole lot of elemental chaining here, so that part really doesn't do a whole lot, but the agility down does help. And OG Glassy comes in with the Armor Piercer. 4,000, going to drop the defense onto Elda. And now what can Adelard do against Snow? He is a fire unit, and he has been very, very scary this season. 3,900 is respectable damage, but Valade is just going to heal this right back up. This team is so thick from MacRain. It's so hard to get through. And it's very, very impressive. 5,300 coming out from the Valade. And unless all 3 of these units can go back to back, I think it's going to be hard to get through. But Earth and Glory will help, as that's going to slow Snow. Demon Purger comes out for 2,100. It's going to heal himself up a little bit. And newest form Glassy is going to go next with a triple cross. A nice little Pierce Chain, which maybe could be chained up by Elda if he lives another hit, but I don't think he's going to. Armor Piercer is going to come out for 4,000 and actually nukes Adelard as well. And OG Glassy is showing up again to tremendous success. She lands a double kill. And unfortunately, with Snow being a really great tank here, I just don't see how Flagbearer Glassy is going to overcome this. This elemental disadvantage is really, really tough. And the King Bradley TMR going to be refreshed, but OG takes care of any sort of barrier that was on her still. The haste is removed as well. And 24 AP in a Dream. Shining Conviction's nice little chain, dropping wind attack resistance as well. But she's got no AP left. Valade should be able to go for a Cura on both of these units here. And I think we're just delaying the inevitable at this point. OG Glassy's going to go. She's got 19 AP. Pummel is a nice little water chain. And man, oh man, she looks so damn strong, I will say. Close call comes out from the Snow. So he's not ready for this fight to be over. He says, hey, you get one more chance with your 1 AP. Going to find an attack on both the units to get that agility down again. But Valade's going to go for a heal. And the OG Glassy should be able to take care of this. Please, God, don't give me a reflex. And 4,000 damage comes out from OG Glassy. That is going to seal up the series, guys. A great win by MacRain and the Materia Hunters. Game number 1 of State Military versus the Logic Breakers. We've got Greatestness versus Shadow 91. And it looks like Shadow 91's running the Perrine, Velis, and Uni combination as the Greater Domain of Water comes out from Perrine. And from Greatestness side, he's rocking Velric, Barret, and Engelbert. So very, very interesting full UR composition coming out here. And surprisingly enough, a few good UR units, but this is still under that 220 cost limit. They're actually all 70 in our format this season. So very, very cool to see this team come out. Revitalize coming out from Uni. Stars of Swiftness from the Velis. So a couple of hasted units at this moment. As that Flame Tongue being rocked by Engelbert. I imagine that is just a weapon skin. But here comes Velis. He should be able to haste up Perrine as well. And so now everybody on Shadow's team is nice and speedy. Raging Water is going to come out. So she is ready to remove Protect if anybody has it on the team. And the King Bradley TMR, a tale as old as time, coming out from Velric here. And Barret, what does he have in store? He's going to go for a Steel Skin plus getting that Courage, AoE resist, 8B cost rate down. This is just so ridiculously good for him to make him be an effective unit. And Uni is still out of range to do anything. Does not really have any buffs in his kit, so he's just going to walk forward, basically just chill for a minute as Ice Blessing comes out from Velis. And some really, really slow units in terms of movement, I would say, coming out from both sides. So it's taking a while for the fight to actually start out. But here comes Shadow Dance from Perrine, so she's used 3 really strong buffs. And she's ready to go. She's ready to tear some stuff up here. So Uni should finally be in range. What does he actually go for? He's going to go for the Arrow Fall. So this is going to nullify any sort of like haste or quicken stuff. Obviously no quickens coming out from the other side. Here comes Barret. He's actually able to find a limit break. Is this on the Perrine? If this lands Confusion, this could be pretty major, as she's only close enough to hit her allies. And yes, it does land onto Perrine, the main carry. She's going to punch Velis in the back of the head. 4,800 damage. And that limit break looking pretty major here for Barret, as Concentration's going to come out from the Velric. He's still out of range. Just going to refresh some buffs here. Velis should be going for a heal. And this is going to be really tricky for Shadow. I imagine somebody will get Shadow's Perrine out of this confusion, but Engelbert actually finding some damage onto Uni. Not a whole lot. He's not really known for his damage. Uni's going to go next. Go for a barrage on the entire team. Just a little bit of chip on all 3. As the King Bradley TMR expires and gets a refresh from Velric before he's able to do any sort of damage. Focus Shot Plus coming out from the Barret, though, so they were just leaving this Perrine in the back confused. And she's just going to go back and punch Velis again. And unfortunately, the status effect working so well against the Logic Breakers, as Snow Healing comes out from Velis again, but not healing Perrine. But that reflex from Uni could buy Shadow enough time to try and pull something off here. Uni doing his best job tanking. He's taken a few hits already. Can he take another Surge Strike only for 1503? And the Uni tank tech. Obviously, it's not actually a Uni tank tech. I don't think he has any hate. He's just taking more damage than Perrine, and that's why they're favoring him. But man, he took 4 or 5 hits before he technically died due to all that healing from Velis. But this might be offensive Velis coming out here. Does he go for an AoE? Perrine is going to punch him again for a 3rd time. And this is one of the biggest confusion statuses that I've ever seen. It made Perrine punch Velis 3 times. That is just absolutely nuts. Can they finally take her out before she gets a turn, as they are stacked up for an AoE? They should be able to. Barret and Engelbert are both going to go, but it looks like Barret cannot get there because of line of sight issues, but Surge Strike is just enough damage, and Greatestness takes the Game 1 victory from a huge limit break from Barret. Game 2 Hero of State Military and the Logic Breakers, and it looks like the same team compositions coming out from both teams. So looking at the position, I'm thinking maybe this is the adjustment. I don't think Perrine started in that same spot last time, so maybe hoping if Barret does a limit break, it doesn't land on her this time. Maybe that's the tech. We'll have to find out. Maybe she's running some more Confusion Resist. We'll have to see. Revitalize coming out from the Barret, so he's got tons of AP here. Don't remember if he used this last time. I know he did his Steel Skin buff, but Uni doing a very similar thing to last time, going for the Revitalize. And it looks like Uni is running Bowtie, I think, based on that movement. Can't remember if they ran Bowtie or not last time. But Uni going to try and tank up as well as he did last time. I will say they didn't lose because of Uni last time. It was that big limit break. Stars of Swiftness coming out, though. Another Raging Waters buff. And Velric going to go with the King Bradley TMR. So I think this is still the same stuff coming up from Greatestness. Again, I don't remember if the bells came out from Barret, but I think this is pretty much all the same stuff. Here is that Steel Skin buff. And should be an interesting thing to see. Do these positional changes change anything for Shadow? He seems confident in this team, obviously, to bring it right back. But what is the response to the Barret limit break? This is the huge question. Because I have no doubt that Perrine could have put in some work last time if she wasn't confused. She never really got to do anything. Midnight Wall coming out from the Velric, though. This is, I think, a massive physical health shield, if I remember right. I think it might even be 70%. It's a lot. Arrowfall hits for an AoE on multiple units. Does not hit the hasted up unit Velric, though, who does want to haste up from that King Bradley TMR. And Barret here, unable to find the limit break. The last time he was in that spot, he was able to find it. Vortex Kick goes off for a ton of damage onto the 2 tanky units here. As Drain Assault from Velric comes out, heals him, but he was already at full health, so that really doesn't matter. Is Perrine low enough for a heal? No, she's not, but she's going to re-catch a Stars of Swiftness. Now she is very hasted up. And looking at the turn order, this is looking kind of rough for Greatestness. Barrage comes out from Shadow's Uni, getting a nice little water chain. Enough of this from Perrine, so the counterattack. Engelbert will heal up a little bit from that drain attack here, but Perrine should be able to catch another AoE. Vortex Kick goes off, procs the Courage on Barret, chunks the Engelbert and the Velric, but here is the limit break, and who is this onto? Is this Perrine or Uni? I imagine it should be Uni this time. It is, and that is so major, because now Perrine is not confused, and looking at the turn order, unless this kills her, which it does not, Hazard Break is not enough. In fact, she heals more than the Hazard Break did. And Velas might actually go for damage here. Yeah, he does. Eternal Frost is going to come out, and Perrine is up next. She should be able to find a third AoE here with the Vortex Kick. She does exactly that. And man, oh man, unless Velric can pull off absolutely something crazy, which he's not going to get the chance to. A great decision by Shadow to keep the same team as Game 1 with some positional adjustments. Very, very smart, and we're headed to a Game 3. Heading into the final game of this series, guys, and both teams running the exact same units for a third time. So both teams thinking they have the edge, if with maybe some sort of adjustment or positional something. We'll have to see. Concentration comes out from the Velric, and I'm looking at the position. This is a third variation coming out from Shadow, so it looks like Uni is on the other side. I'm thinking probably running Bowtie for some hate. As the yeah, this is exactly what's going on, because Velas is going to run over there and haste him. So Velas and Perrine on one side, the Courage coming out from Engelbert. Interesting to see what all of the changes are from Greatestness side, though. It's still Bells onto Barret, so still prioritizing that AP restore. And Velas is going to run back to the other side and haste up the Perrine here now. So King Bradley's TMR still from Velric. And Perrine's going to go Raging Waters just like last time. So a lot of the same things, except I think the biggest difference is the position from Shadow's team, actually. Basically a third variation of it. Courage coming out from the Barret. Stars of Swift is just going to be refreshed again. Uni doesn't have a ton of AP. Going to go for the Shadowbind for 1330. Did not land the Immobilize, unfortunately, to keep Barret stuck there. But Heart of Flutter from Engelbert. But I think he might even be running Bowtie too, as I think that only looks like 3 movement even after the TMR buff. Midnight Wall again from the Velric. And these units are really starting to stack up. My question is, can Perrine get in the range to hit that massive AoE like she did last time? Barret's going to go next. Focus Shot Plus, though, not the limit break, but does land the slow, which is really crucial considering Uni was hasted up there. Barrage onto multiple units, but that is not the attack that nullifies that haste and quicken. And here comes Perrine. What can she find here? It's a Vortex Kick onto only Barret. Drops the healing power a little bit, but here comes the Drain Assault from Velric. So the biggest difference from the last game is Uni is chunked, and the AoE only found Barret instead of the entire team. So I think the edge is slightly on Greatestness, but this should be a heal from Velric. And can this Uni actually continue to tank up damage? We'll have to see here. Vortex Kick finds multiple this time. Procs the Courage already from the Barret. And Hazard Spin from Velric is a good chunk. It will get healed back onto Perrine, but he actually did a little bit of damage to himself from that move. Barret's going to go point blank. 8,800 damage is a ton, though. Uni, I think, did his job, though, tanking up those hits. This should be another offensive attack from Velric, though. I don't think Perrine is low enough. Sub-Zero kills the Barret. He was only at 1 health, but here comes Perrine and Velas in a 2v2 versus Velric and Engelbert, and I will say, I think the advantage goes to Perrine and Velas. We'll have to see. That was not a lot of damage onto Engelbert, though. He tanked that up insanely well. Retribution Drain, in fact, is going to heal himself back up a bit as well. Velric, can he find a massive AoE? Hazard Break is 5,400 damage. Does not land it on the Velas, but look at the turn order. Perrine's going to go next. Subjugating Fist drops unit attack resist. Velas should be able to get this heal off. And my question is, Can they do enough damage to get through this? That is not a massive heal coming up from the Velis, though. Perrine's going to remove Courage, 4,900 damage. She is slowly getting through this Engelbert. Valric is doing a good chunk. Engelbert needs to land a kill right now. Enough of this comes up. Gets the CT up. Oh my god, Perrine does die, so it looks like Greatestness does have a chance. But now Valric is in offensive mode. And if he can find an AoE, which he can, he's going to go Eternal Frost, get the spear piercing rate. Oh my god, Paralyzing Edge 4,400. Velis is now going to heal himself. Will this end up going into turns with Valric trying to hurt Velis and Velis healing himself? This is very realistic that could happen, but Valric out of AP, just going to go for the standard attack. I think Velis should go for offense now. He's actually going to channel a spell. Duty filled. The game ends on turns with Velis casting a spell, but the team with Velis on it, Shadow 91's Logic Breakers, win the game on health. Absolutely wild game 3, but congratulations to Shadow 91 and the Logic Breakers winning an awesome series. GG's to both players. All right, the final series of this week, guys. We've got Chisei's the Heretics on the left side versus my team, the Zanarkand Abes, and I'm running my full Greatsword lightsaber composition as Cloud is going to go for the concentration buff onto everybody, get that agility up, and Heart of Flutter, Sweetheart Eldir TMR coming out from Rain to make sure he gets nice and far forward right out of the gate. Looks like we're going Winged, Stern, Titus, and Naya, so Pinion of Steel buff coming out from Stern right away, getting that AoE resist up. Hazard Revival, the new 140 ability coming out from Shutzelt, so now he has Courage and a self-heal online. And Zombie TMR coming up from Naya to try and make sure that she stays alive and is a very pesky healer from the backline. Saintly Fortress coming out from Titus, rocking 14,000 health, so he is very bulky. He has a 3-hit physical barrier here. Not known as much of a slash tank, but he can build up some decent defense, and Soul Prominence is a nice little slash chain coming out from Rain. It will not nullify that physical barrier, but a good slash chain start as Convergence Plus only hits for 3k onto the Rain. Shutzelt is going to follow up with a Pressure Hazard for 3,200, lands the stop onto Titus, and Naya should be in heal mode at this point to try and make sure that tank steals alive. Kiriga comes out a 6,600 heal, so Titus is very, very healthy again, but here comes Ascension from Cloud. He says, hey, I don't really like that physical barrier you've got on it. Let's get rid of it. That is a damage cap, 11,999 from the Cloud, as Stern Wing of Destiny comes back with an Infinite Light. This is a limit break on both Rain and Shutzelt. Rain should tank it up decently well with his AoE resist, but Shutzelt does not. It procs his Courage, but he's going to heal all the way back up to full, so you do have to kill him one more time. Rain is going to go with a Soul Prominence, getting that slash chain all the way up to 7 at this point, and Shutzelt is going to go next in a 3v2 advantage. Drain Force coming up from the Shutzelt for 5k. He didn't need any more healing, but he got a little more healing, and Cloud's going to follow up with a Braver for 7,900, lands the kill, and the re-raise never came out from Stern, so this is a 3v1 advantage for my team. Naya says, I'm not done yet, though. Here comes the full life onto Titus, who at this moment still has a 7 slash chain on him. Rain says, hey, let's go ahead and make that a 10 slash chain. Cloud says, I can add that to that as well. 11 slash chain. Standard attack just doing an absolute ludicrous amount of damage. And Naya, with the CT up from the wizard staff, is going to go next. And she says, let's try this again. Let's bring him back one more time just to have him die one more time. And Rain comes back with Undermine for a 12 slash chain. And I'm thinking, can we get a triple slash for 15 from the Cloud? But he has to spoil the party. He goes with the Dark Bahamut summon, and it does not add any more. So I think the WDL record slash chain is now 12. Unfortunately, didn't make it to 15, but I do pick up the game 1 victory against Chisei and the Heretics. Spoiler alert, Naya is going to die in a moment after she does come back from this re-raise. Rain's going to delay the inevitable just to troll me a little bit more, and Cloud will pick up this kill with a standard attack. GG's to both players, including myself. I know that's weird that I said that. Anyway, game 2. Heading into game 2, I thought there was a decent chance that Chisei would switch to a Sottily Renan composition, and I honestly thought my Greatsword team answered that the best, so I ended up rocking it again. He actually sticks with the Stern, Wing of Destiny, Titus, and Naya composition that just lost to it last fight. However, the positioning changes from Chisei. He's in the back corner, so hopefully trying to get that re-raise off on Stern, which he could not get last time, hoping that that's the difference. Hazard Revival again from Shutzelt, and my turn order is the exact same as game number 1. So we'll have to see how this plays out. A couple of different trust stones and things like that switch from me, but everything else should be the same, as Saintly Fortress comes out from Titus, getting that 3-hit physical shield, getting that hate up, more importantly, and he also catches a protect from Naya, so also trying to mitigate that physical damage from my team a little bit better. This is the re-raise from Stern, Wing of Destiny, so now he is truly online compared to last time, as the King Bradley TMR comes out from Cloud, getting him hasted and also giving him 100 perfect reaction block rate along with his 140 passive. The Astral Guard coming out from Rain, though, so now he has about 17 hate on his kit, I believe, so he's ready to go. Dragon's Pride from Shutzelt, so my 2 DPS physical damage dealers are now both hasted up, as Punisher mode from Cloud gets his AoE resist up, so if he catches an AoE, he should be healthy enough to take it. And speaking of which, this is a limit break from Stern, so he said, hey, I see your red lightsabers, I see your hasted up nonsense, I'm gonna go do both of those things myself. So he summons his giant red lightsaber and gets hasted up. Pressure Hazard comes out from the Shutzelt, only 1510. Actually soaked incredibly well by that Titus, as he magic reflexes my Rain. So unfortunate I could not get a stacked up slash chain here, but he is going to dodge that like Neo from the Matrix. Drain Cyclone is actually going to heal him back up, so it's basically as if none of that damage happened from Shutzelt. Naya is going to start channeling a spell, but here comes Cloud. He says, hey, that shield, let's get rid of it again. I really don't like this. Stop bringing it to the fight. And here comes 9,000 damage from my boy Cloud, so a very nice start from him. But Naya's going to protect herself to try and mitigate any sort of damage, and my units are stacked up. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. As 100 Edges comes out, procs the Courage from Shutzelt. He's going to heal back up, but Drain Force goes through Protect and all of that stuff. So 7k onto the Titus is enough to kill him. And Cross Slash comes out onto the Stern, doing 6,400 damage. I don't manage to land a paralysis, unfortunately, but this 3v2 is looking pretty good for me. Soul Prominence is a nice little chain on Naya, who's going to catch some CT up, and she should be going for a heal at this moment. So I expect her to go for a Kuriga. As Stern with 53 AP, what can he find? He can only find the Aegis Crush on Rain, so my 2 DPSs are healthy in the back. And Shutzelt, I'm hoping can find an AoE. He does, but it actually gets dodged by Stern Wing of Destiny. I am almost positive this would have killed him, but unfortunately gets dodged. Stun Blade is going to seal the kill, though, and now this is a re-raise Stern versus 2. We've seen him pull off some crazy stuff before. Can he do it again? 61 AP. He's going to find the Cloud. Aegis crushes a kill, and now my boy Shutzelt is in a 1v1 versus him. Unfortunately, he only has 4 AP. He's going to have to go Hazard Revival. The one thing I have going for me is Stern does not have Courage Removal. So Stern is going to go next. 49 AP. Convergence Plus going to drop the healing power. He does not have to move, though. And looking at the CT, he is now going to lap, and he's going to find the kill on my Shutzelt regardless. Chisei Stern pulls off the 1v2 and pulls off the game to victory. Game number 3, guys, and I think we both knew what we were going to bring to the table. Into this game 3, I made 2 small adjustments. I gave Cloud his other passive, his Nightblade passive, to make sure his movement was only 3 instead of 4, to make sure he didn't catch the first AoE from Stern, the Limit Break. And the other adjustment was giving an Alex Ring to Shutzelt. I think he probably had about an 85-90% chance to hit Stern in the last fight, and I got a little unlucky, and I was like, hey, I don't want to leave it to that RNG. So those were my adjustments into this fight, and it looks like coming from Chisei, he added some lightning resist to Titus, and that was mainly the only adjustment coming from him. So most of the stuff should stay the same, and we'll have to see how it goes. Saintly Fortress coming from the Titus. He's going to walk forward, get that hate up and the physical shield, protect on him as well again. So same turn rotation as last time, as the reawakening comes from Stern, getting that re-raise again. Cloud is going to go with the momentum, King Bradley TMR, and as you can see, he is now 2 spaces behind Rain instead of 1. Rain's going to go with the Astral Guard, so he gets that hate buff online. And Shutzelt, I actually switched his Esper as well, so he actually has 2 hate different than last time, and his movement is going to be a little different from last time. So we'll have to see how these adjustments work for one of our 2 favors. Protect is going onto the Stern Wing of Destiny. Punisher mode goes on to Cloud, getting that AoE resist again, but he should be able to dodge out from the Limit Break from last time. But here is the difference. 2 extra agility for Shutzelt compared to last time. I didn't even think about it. Puts himself in range of the AoE, but I do get lucky and get the reflex on Shutzelt. This was an oversight by me. I didn't even think about the fact that this 2 extra agility would make him go before Stern. It put himself in danger, but I do get lucky on this turn here. But Titus gets lucky again, just like last game, and dodges out on the magic reflex from Rain, so no slash chain startup for me. Titus is going to go next. He's going to Blade Bash onto the Rain, does not find the stun. Naya's going to go next, and what do we have here?
just like the first 2 games, limit break from Cloud. And let's see how that lightning resist plays into effect for Titus. Last time it was 9k, this time it was 6200, so much better tanked compared to the last fight. Very good adjustment coming out from Chisei. And here comes Stern, able to find an AoE. Convergence Plus is going to drop the healing power on Shutzelt, and he heals back way less than before. He is going to Drain Force, though, for 7,400 and heal himself to full anyway, so the healing power really didn't matter. Cloud is going to go next. He's going to go with Concentration, though, as he is not able to find damage onto anybody. And Rain, what do you have in store? Soul Prominence is going to start a slash chain, but that slash chain is going to end as Stern is going to act before any of my units. Naya is going to start channeling a spell, though, and I'm thinking she can land a full life from here. And somehow, 100 Edges has so much range, actually follows Shutzelt behind the wooden fence. He is going to drop, and now I am in a very dangerous position as I am in a 1v3 with Cloud and a Dream. 67 AP. Cloud is a very strong guy, but Mega Slash is not going to do it, especially with Naya healing in the background. Blade Bash is going to do about 1600 damage. Naya should be able to find a Curaga, and Stern Wing of Destiny is going to go next, and he is inevitable. 71 AP, Claws of the Wing, the Lion doing a very large chunk of damage to my Cloud, and I'm thinking, can I pull a Taio from last week? Can I get 8 or 9 reflexes in a row? Because that is my only chance in this fight. They do not get one on that hit, and I do not get one on this hit, and that is all she wrote, guys. GG's. Congratulations to Chisei in the series. An absolutely awesome series. I will say he was a very, very cool guy. I had a blast talking to him during this series. Even though I won game 1, he was laughing really hard with me about how crazy the slash chain was in game 1. So he was just in good spirits regardless whether he was winning or losing. It was an absolute blast. I will say I was a little salty after game 2 after the missed attack from Shutzelt, but RNG goes both ways. Like, I landed the stop in game 1. Maybe that fight doesn't go the same way if I don't land that stop. Maybe Titus lands a stun or something like that. So you never really know how that RNG is going to play out. Unfortunately, I was on the wrong side of it in that second game, but that's how she goes. So huge shout out to Chisei. Absolutely awesome person, an amazing player. And let's check out the standings.
All right, guys, with 6 weeks in the books, this is how the Wezette standings shake out. To no surprise, we have MacRain of the Materia Hunters in first place with 16 points at 501 record. Very, very impressive. The only series loss being to the Logic Breakers, coached by Shadow91. Ram9 of the Rock Boys not too far behind, though. 14 points, currently in second place. Our Season 2 defending champ looking in good position to try and make the playoffs for Season 3. Garouken of Corked and Screwed, though, who started off a little slow this season, has really hit his stride. I think he has won the last 4 weeks in a row. Just really, really impressive. Now in third place with the head-to-head tiebreaker over Numero 80. Speaking of Numero 80, Blind Enthusiast in fourth place, another new player. Looking very impressive to this point, has a 1-point edge over Chisei of the Heretics, who managed to take that 3-game series over me this week. So Chisei is sitting with 12 points. If the playoffs started right now, those would be our 5 teams, but there are a few teams here who are looking to say something about it. Greatestness of State Military only 1 point out of that top 5 currently with 11 points, and Shadow91 of the Logic Breakers with that series win over Greatestness keeps himself alive and in the thick of it. I have to imagine if he lost that, it probably would have been over, but now he's basically only 1 series win out. It's very, very close. My team, the Zanarkand Abes, absolute heartbreak this week losing to Chisei, I will say. I really thought I was going to win that game too, but it didn't go my way. 8 points for my team. I am not technically out of the playoffs, but I do have to win out to have a chance. So if I win all 3 of my weeks, there is a chance, but I think I still need some things to fall my way. So 9th place, Mr. Aloha of Team #Pokesquid with 4 points, and Bam of Black Turtles. Unfortunately, I don't think they will be making the playoffs this season, but it was really, really fun watching their teams, and I'm looking forward to them playing spoiler and trying to take out some of these top teams, and maybe even help me out to try and make the playoffs. So we'll see how it goes. But to this point, this Wezette division has been really entertaining. It's been really hard to figure out who number 1, 2, or 3 is all season. It feels like it's been jumping around quite a bit. But it's been interesting to watch. I know for myself personally, and I do try and comment on this like closer to the end of the season, I'm still going to try my best to make the playoffs. My 3 opponents left are Garouken next week, and then Shadow91, followed by Greatestness the final week. So 3 of my opponents who I'm trying to make the playoffs of. I don't fully control my own destiny, but I do have a pretty big part in it if I win those. So we'll have to see how it goes. I have no idea. We've got 3 weeks left. It should be really exciting regardless coming into these final few weeks, as there are a lot of teams competing for those 5 playoff spots.
It should be fun. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.